I was managing my own rental properties.
Do you mind if I ask you how many? I'm dying. Range, you want to give me a range of ones that when you were doing it yourself, roughly something about?
Probably 70. Well, you know, I had a partner. We were probably doing 70.
Man,
I still think that's the worst decision ever made.
Hey guys, welcome to the Investor's Guide of Memphis Real Estate. I'm your host, Dean Harrison. As always, I'm with Douglas Skipworth. How are you, buddy?
Hey man, doing great.
We're bringing you this podcast to give you the boots on the ground knowledge and experience to be a successful real estate investor here in Memphis, Tennessee. Please like and subscribe to the Investor's Guide of Memphis Real Estate on our YouTube channel, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Facebook, wherever you want to catch the show. Show sponsors are listed on your screen below. We wouldn't be able to do this podcast or run our rental business without these guys. We've got Triumph Construction, River City Title, Corland Financial, CrestCore Property Management, and then Will Griffin over at Griffin Clift Everton, the Mashmeyer. I help buyers and sellers every day. If you have any questions on selling a property here in Memphis, or you'd like to get our CrestCore buyer profile built for you, shoot me an email, dean@crestcore.com, and I'll be happy to send that to you today. How's it going?
Great.
Who's the company MVP?
Yeah.
Who is it? We're football season is in full swing. We're 4 or 5 weeks into that. We're talking about today. They've got MVPs, obviously. Today, we're going to talk about who is your and my company MVP, your investment portfolio. We're talking about your company MVP. We'll dive into it, but what's your answer? What's the first, when somebody asks you that? And we debated on whether we did this interview style today or not, or how we would do it. But I say, like, the way we'll do it, we're both going to answer these questions. So if you're not answering something similar or as quickly as we are, then maybe you should. Yeah. But when somebody says, man, like MVP and Douglas's rental business.
Yeah, property manager. Yeah, that's where I got to go. It's property manager.
I can see that. And I almost went that route. I almost went that route. I went with the general contractor.
I can see that,
Right. After that, I think everyone else is a little bit universal, right? We can bring in others, and I think you can be a little more flexible. Yeah. With me, I can't move off of the GC that we use. I can't, it's just tough to do at this point. Could, I guess could, but it would be a situation where it was like, hey, I guess he stopped working. We just built the trust level up so much, and it's your team. So let's talk about it.
I thought about that as soon as you were doing the intro and talking about the show sponsors. I was like, those are, you could call them MVPs.
You
could call any of those people MVPs, especially you're talking about Triumph Construction, you're talking about CrestCore Property Management, which is who we want to talk about right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we use them all. I mean, that's a great point to say. Before we talk about just these two, Will and April over at River City have been assets for us just for years and years with our clients. And I couldn't, so this was a very difficult to distinguish one or over the other.
And you can't do any of this without deals.
Man, I can't
without your agent,
right?
Without you saying, and then you can't do anything without money. So you can have all the deals in the world, So it's like your core lend, your hard money lender, your banker, whoever's giving you mortgage financing. But once you've got deals and money, then what? Because then I think that's where both you and I came down on. It's like you got deals, you got the financing. Then you got to take care of the property.
And I think it's fair to say, Douglas, that the management and the GC part of it, the ones that we chose as our MVP, because you're so entrenched with them, they have to be your MVP.
They're the ones who take care of, are you going to flip the property? Well, how are you going to, you can go, anybody, we all know this, anybody can buy a property.
Yeah. Yeah, through a bank.
Just go buy.
And you can use 10 banks. They usually give you the same loan.
Yes.
Right? Maybe a little different customer service. I understand that. No offense to our bankers. I love those guys. But you see my point. You can go to several different banks and get the similar product. I know for a fact I can't go to several different GCs and get the same product.
Nope.
And I feel like you probably said the same thing. I can't go through several management companies in the city and get the same service.
Yes. So
yeah,
I like it.
So that's part of the reason why we talked about this today. I wanted to kind of ask some questions back and forth. And the first one was, who's our MVPs? We talked about that. How do you source that person? How did you? This is a great question because it'll give you a little bit more info. How did you source?
No, this is good for me because specifically for me, I was self-managing. I was managing my own rental properties.
Do you mind if I ask you how many? I'm dying. Range, you want to give me a range of ones that when you were doing it yourself, roughly something about?
Probably 70. Well, I had a partner. We were probably doing 70.
Man,
I still think that's the worst decision ever made. But I don't mean to for me, to self-manage, So I understood immediately the importance of leveraging money, of using OPM, other people's money. Like that's all they talk about. But they never talk about OPT.
Other people's time.
Like you have to leverage other people's time. Like you're not, you use an agent like Dean, use a team like Allie, to source deals. Yeah. Otherwise, all your time's going to be sourcing deals. Use a property manager, use a contractor, else you're going to be swinging a hammer, running to Lowe's, paying vendors on Friday because they got to pay their crews. I mean, it's just.
You went through all of it.
All of it. All of it. So I needed to leverage my time like I was leveraging my money because my time was getting sucked up with managing. And I realized it was doing low. We've talked about this before. Low dollar tasks that you could pay somebody who's you could pay them less per hour than it's costing you to do it, and they're going to do a better job.
Low dollar hour a month. I talk about that all the time.
Yeah,
you don't need to do low dollar an hour work. I try not to use a number there.
Yes.
Not to offend, Low dollar an hour work versus high dollar an hour work, which,
as the
owner, where
only you can do.
Used.
We've talked about this before. It's like I was in a group one time and the guy was like, you got to do what only, the owner of this business can do. Because you can hire people to do everything else, but there's certain things only you can do.
That's right.
And you need to focus on those things, not running to Lowe's to meet the contractor.
So you discovered your MVP through management by self-managing and then realizing you needed to
outsource that to leverage my time. How did you get your contractor?
Whoa.
I was there.
Oh man.
Trial and error.
A bunch of ass whippings since 2015. And I don't know any other way to put it other than a bunch of just straight clubbings to the head since 2015 when I started buying these. Yeah. And what I mean by that is I would try a guy and give him a few jobs, either from myself or through the brokerage. He'd work 3, 4, 5. We'd start working on 6, 7, and 8. Things would get confusing for him. Money would be shifting everywhere. He's what you've heard us say before, chucking a truck. And it turns into a cluster chuck. That's the greatest line ever.
It does. I remember one of your contractors. You remember this? You paid him $5,000 check.
Yeah. Yep.
And they did work and whatever, and you had to move on from them.
Yep.
And then a year later, they tried to cash that check again.
Sure did. I had somebody do that to me.
Yeah, I remember
that. Kept it, and they kept the check, and somehow or another got it, and then tried to run it through again. You know who I'm talking about. Yes. Tried to run it through again and do it. So that has happened. So I went through a bunch of those scenarios where I would interview and talk and hire, and interview and talk and hire. And then they would all essentially let a group of my investors down. 5, 6, 7 of them would be okay. The last 2 or 3, whatever they do. And I couldn't afford to have anyone in my client base be let down by a contractor. So I developed a relationship with someone that I knew.
You're right.
So Nick Bowen with Trump Construction, I knew he was a pharmacist. He didn't mind me sharing this. He was a pharmacist first, and their schedules are odd. They work 1 week on and 1 week off, and 1 week on and 1 week off. So during the week off, he would do just side jobs.
Yeah.
His family owned a construction company. He grew up in the business. He went on ahead and got licensed. So we started doing that part-time work. So I started to give him a few of mine because again,
correct.
I know I've told Nick this, but I thought this was another chuck in a truck.
Yeah.
And I was going to let him just prove me again wrong that I'm doing this again the wrong way. But he wasn't. Nick had a good training process when he was younger, and he ran the business a little bit differently. Site managers, job managers.
I'll tell you one thing. Pharmacists are detail-oriented, buddy.
Pharmacists are detail-oriented. And he does. He's very detailed and does a great job. So, but I developed a rapport with him. I let him do a few jobs for myself, a few by 5 or 6 turns.
Yeah, you're right.
It took about a year or more. So this wasn't a quick thing. Going into year 2, I began to talk to some of my clients who had done who were familiar with construction, Are y'all willing to try somebody? And I didn't have them on the preferred list then. It was about another year of clients working with them that I knew and trusted, that I could kind of watch that system and go. And for another year through the brokerage, it worked. And then I finally added him to our preferred vendor list. And it's worked out. So he does a lot of jobs for our clients and does a lot of jobs for other people.
But that's good how you, like myself, went through some trial and error.
Oh, man. To
say it lightly.
It really, I will tell you, it is the equivalent. Have you ever seen Tommy Boy?
Yes.
It's the equivalent of when he takes that 2x4 and he whacks him square in the head with it. I feel like I did that. I went through that a dozen times with contractors from 15 to Nick and I started working in 19 just before COVID. So we've been about 6 years. Great. So that's how I discovered mine, not by accident, but by very slow, careful patience.
Yeah.
And I on the side over here, I had to deal with other chucking of trucks for the client, for everybody. I just had to deal with a half a dozen of them. I'd only give them a job every 2 months. So that I couldn't manage a dozen of those and just rotate that. There's no way. So, let's see. Do they work well with the other vendor partners?
Yeah.
The answer to that is heck yeah, man.
Oh yeah, man.
We couldn't be able. We're a family, whether you like it or not, whether you want to think it or not. We're all sister companies in some way or another, not actually in ownership, but we work so close
team, man.
with
it's
everybody.
High functioning, high performing team.
Yeah.
And you've played on sports teams.
Big time.
You have to have people at the same caliber. Because when you pass, there's nothing worse than passing a ball and it bouncing through their hands. They fumble it or miss it. You pass it to something in basketball, you pass it to somebody, they miss a layup.
Yeah.
I mean, those people can't be on your team.
No.
So you've surrounded yourself. I mean, it's show sponsors, but property management, where you're using contractors, they got to be able to move back and forth with the other people on the team.
Everybody on the vendor partner list, we've talked about this for years. I use in my own personal business. I manage, I use the lending, River City Title, we've talked about that.
You've used Will for forever.
So I mean, like, all of these folks helped me run my business, and it was the only way I felt comfortable getting on a microphone and telling you guys about it. So the answer to that question there, do they work well with the others? Emphatically, yes.
Yeah,
there would be no way that we can keep, if they didn't, that we could continue to do that. So no, those are great. How long have they been with you, Douglas? And are they a part of every house and transaction?
Yeah. So on property management, I've been using them since 2012.
Okay.
So plus, over a decade, dozens. They've helped with the dozens and dozens of houses.
Yeah.
And everything along the way, as far as integrating new houses.
Yeah.
And when you have to offboard a house for whatever reason, you got an agent who helps me buy. I got an agent who helps me sell.
Yeah.
And they're seamless. Getting that, working with tenants.
Yep.
Working on the maintenance, working with vendors, working with the contractors, getting the houses rehabbed. So yes, they've been there, done that. They touch every single house. Couldn't do it without them. Again, I'm looking at property management to leverage my time so that I can spend my time doing other things that I need to do or want to do, and not something that I have to do because I've signed up to self-manage or whatever.
Right. I started with Nick and Triumph Construction at 18 by myself. Like I just almost described there, about late 19 is when they joined the preferred vendor list. So about 20 months after I started working with them, they came on the vendor partner list.
How many you think they've done for you and clients? Triumph Construction.
Hundreds.
Yeah. A year, definitely a year, right?
I would say the true number that he has completed for us, I would imagine it's around 65 to 75 full-blown rehabs a year.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking, 500.
Thinking maybe 500, 600 rehabs, and then countless turns and
general maintenance stuff doing,
countless. And do I use anyone else? And are they, no, I don't. The question was, are they part of every house and transaction?
Yes. Oh yeah.
Yeah, they are. And it's the trust.
Yeah.
And I just know from my experience, I have that relationship knowing when he enters the home, he knows exactly because we've done so many. This didn't happen on day one. If you remember, I didn't put him on the vendor partner list for almost 2 years.
You did say that. Yeah.
So this did not happen overnight. But now he knows exactly what I'm looking for. He knows exactly what I don't want. If he walks into a home and he sees something that I don't want, he walks out. What's the point? And doesn't charge me to do the bid. That's the thing. He won't just do it and then make the money, right? So that's another thing I love.
That's good.
He owns rentals.
Yep.
So there's a common relationship, mental relationship there. So he kind of gets it. And I just feel comfortable with him going and being my eyes. So not everyone is going to develop that rapport with a GC or with anyone, but I've done so many, I feel comfortable. What the good news is that if you're buying through me and you trust me and this is what you develop that rapport with me, you should know that not only Triumph, but CrestCore Property Management, River City Title, Will over there, Cortland, everybody that is on our list, we've worked with dozens and dozens and dozens of times. And this is the other thing I talk about when I talk about our MVPs and anyone else when I'm talking to a client about our vendor partner list. If you're using our folks, when something goes wrong, when it does, it's happening.
When it does.
It's going to happen. Something's going to go wrong. When it goes wrong, we have that ability to jump in the middle and get things resolved quicker. We try not to put you in a situation where they're more expensive or where they're not doing as good a job. We don't ever put that in the way of being able to jump in the middle. They still got to perform.
Yes.
But when we use them and you use them and I use them and then our clients use them, it's when something goes wrong, we're able to fix it quicker.
Yeah.
If we use other outside vendors and contractors, that's fine. But when I call on your behalf, I'm just another person calling.
That's what I was going to say. You go to the front of the line, they take your call because of these are partners. These are strategic partners. They're part of the team.
Yeah.
They're the MVPs. And it's the relationship you've built. And that's what this whole episode is about. It's like, who are the relationships with that you've built that provide the service you need to manage your portfolio, to help your rental business. Yeah. And they're your MVPs, man. Every one of them,
every one of them on some level are an MVP in your business. They need to be. The ones that stick out today for me, where it was my contractor and for you was the property manager.
I mean, they just do
line.
They just handle it. And this is, and for me, like you, it's a long-term buy and hold strategy. So it's like, it might take you a couple months to find a property, maybe 6 months looking and finding the right deal. But after that, there's a lot more time managing that property.
That's right. Great topic today.
Really good.
Talking about our company MVPs. If you guys have any questions, anything else you'd like to ask us or anything on this topic, Dean at CrestCore.com. I'm happy to help you.
Yep.
Good. Anything else?
Great.
All right. We'll see you next time. Thanks a lot.